Alright people, what's up everyone and welcome to another video, and it is time to talk all the spoilers for 5cream. That's right, Scream 5 came out yesterday. I saw it yesterday. I did a review yesterday for my first impressions. It was more of a first impressions besides a review. So if you want to take a look at that, go ahead. Went up yesterday. It's only like 3 minutes long. So if you want to see my immediate first impressions after leaving the theater and coming home, then you can go watch that and then come back here. Especially since I'm going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, you should probably go see the movie first and then come back and watch this. Or just don't watch this at all. You don't need to. It doesn't really matter. You might not even be watching right now. To all the people not watching right now, shout outs to you. To all the people that are watching, shout outs to you too. And shout outs to everybody. Every single person in the world, I guess. Even though horrible people. That sucks. Anyway, so I was super excited for 5cream. I'm calling it 5cream. I don't care. Correct me as what you want. It's going to be called 5cream forever. But anyway, 5cream, there's no 5 in there, I know. And there's a reason why it's not called Scream 5. I understand that. I figured there would be a reason why when the movie came out and you watch it and you'd be like, oh, I get it. And I do get it. It's still annoying, though. I don't care what you say. It's still annoying that all these franchises... Shit, we just had Candyman come out, which is the second movie... I say second because it doesn't count. I don't think it counts the other two movies. Well, actually, no. I think it does because we didn't know his name was Daniel Robitaille until the second movie. So actually, it does count though. So it's technically the fourth movie. It's the second one, kind of, because they kind of don't mention the 2 and 3, even though they kind of... It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, it's still called Candyman. The original's called Candyman. It's annoying. If you don't count the other two movies, then the 2 Candyman movies are called Candyman and Candyman. Anyway... Scream! Back to Scream. I was looking forward to it. It's from the directors of Ready or Not. I think it's from one of the co-writers of Ready or Not also. And I was looking forward to it. It wasn't Kevin Williamson, of course. It definitely wasn't Wes Craven. He passed away in 2015, sadly. But I was expecting them to be able to do something that Wes Craven would be very proud of. Very meta, very violent, very maybe scary, funny, do some great things with characters, the previous characters and stuff. So I was very excited for it. And then the reviews came out and it was getting great reviews. I think the reviews have kind of died down a little bit. I think it's like around the 70% range now on Rotten Tomatoes, which is still pretty good. But I was super excited for it. So I really enjoyed it. I already did a review yesterday, a first impressions thing. Again, you don't need to watch it. But yeah, I'm here to talk all spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, go away. Because we're going to get right into it. All right. I'm not gonna lie, I've been dying to talk about this. I've been dying to talk about it, and I actually forgot to look up the actress's name. I just need to talk about this. I just need to. Okay. All right. I need to talk about this. Spoilers for Scream 5. I just thought it was super funny. Okay, there's an actress in this movie. Her name is Mikey Madison. She plays Amber. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. She was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She played one of the Manson girls. I think Sadie was her name. I don't really follow the Manson stuff, honestly, because I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. But that movie was great. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Loved that there was like some almost wish fulfillment at the end with Quentin Tarantino in that movie. Like, oh, what if it went this way instead of how it actually went and stuff. I don't want to spoil too much about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let's just say she's a minor character in that movie, and she dies in that movie by being set on fire. And this is the second time I've seen this actress. Okay, I've never seen her in anything else. At least I don't think so. So the entire time when she's on screen, the entire movie, I'm just like, that's the girl that got her ass beat by a Brad Pitt, got a dog food can to the face, and then got set on fire into a pool of water. Which I'm always like, why don't you just go under? You're in water. You're on fire. Go in the rest of the water. Submerge yourself. I just really want to bring it up because in this movie, I'm just the entire time I'm thinking like she's the one with the little white face, and you were on a horsey. I love that movie, but so the entire movie I'm like, and then there's a point where her ass gets set on fire, and she's going, ah! I was like, oh my god. It happened again. It's like, is this every time I'm gonna see this actress, is she gonna be set on fucking fire? I swear to God, the way she was like fucking being manic about it, I'm pretty sure it was a special effect fire. I can't remember now. Which I think I want to say in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, it would make sense with Quentin Tarantino. I'm pretty sure that was a real fire stunt. I don't know if it was her doing the fire stunt, which would be dope if it was. But Yeah, so I just thought it was really funny. The two times I've seen this actress, both times she gets killed by being set on fire. Technically, in this one, she doesn't die getting killed. I mean, set on fire because she does still live, and then they shoot her down. But I just wanted to bring that up. It's been killing me all fucking like last 24 hours. I've been wanting to talk about it. I thought it was really funny. Anyway, now let's get to the actual spoilers. This should be a quick spoiler discussion. I always say that, but it ends up being long. But I don't really have a lot to talk about here, really, because the movie itself feels like a Scream movie. There's a lot of meta commentary, as you would expect. A lot more than I was expecting, to be honest, considering it's not Kevin Williamson writing and it's, of course, not Wes Craven directing. I was super surprised by how much there was and how well dispersed it was. I thought if it was going to be like a one of those where it feels like it's like copying Kevin Williamson's writing and Wes Craven's directorial style, I thought it would feel more uneven. You know what I mean? Like it would be like a big chunk of the movie would be about the meta commentary, and then like the rest of the movie would be just a regular slasher. I thought because that's what I love about all the Scream movies, even three. Three is not good, but I enjoy watching it. I really like four. I don't care what anybody says. The killer reveal is kind of weak in that, but I still really like that movie for the most part. But those movies, I think, disperse all the meta commentary, the critique of the horror industry at those points of time when those movies came out, very well. It wasn't just like a big chunk of like 10 minutes is just that, and then the rest of the movie is a regular slasher. I think that does a great job, and this movie does that as well. It's very, very evenly paced out. And I thought like all the stuff they talked about, like they talked about how like all movies nowadays are like a soft reboot, which is why this movie's called Scream and not Scream 5, because this is supposed to be like a soft reboot where it's, you know, like The Force Awakens or even like Candyman or the new Ghostbusters movie where it's a soft reboot. I forgot what the term they used in this. From the one character that's supposed to be the niece of Randy from the original movie, Jamie Kennedy, which I thought was funny that they brought that character. Like they right there, that's already like doing a little joke there, like bringing a character like a family member from an old a family member of a character that got killed in the past, and that character is very similar to that family member or whatever. You know, like this character who's the niece of Randy feels very much like Randy. You know, like she's being, you know, she's the very much the one that breaks the fourth wall almost sometimes. Yeah, so you have like the returning characters, like with Ghostbusters they bring back the old Ghostbusters, and Force Awakens they bring back Han Solo, but it always feels like almost a remake of the original, except they add those old characters, and that's what this does, to the point where there's even a part where the new Meeks, I guess the new Randy Meeks, I forgot her name, I think it's, fuck, I forgot, I should have looked up, but she's even like doing the whole like, oh yo Jamie watch out behind you, Jamie watch out, do the exact same scene, except she's watching Randy in the Stab movies, because of course in these Scream movies they make the Stab movies, which is the actual adaptation, which is always genius to me, the adaptation of the actual killings that happen in Woodsboro. And she's watching the scene of her own uncle being played by somebody else, watching the Halloween. I thought it was really good. I thought stuff like that was great. And there's a lot of scenes like that. There's, of course, you got the scene where Ghostface in the beginning is calling somebody like, would you like to play a scary movie? And in the beginning, the character played by Jenna Ortega, who I thought was actually really good, is just like, yeah, I don't watch like slashers. I watch like the Babadook and like fucking, you know, the good movies like The Witch and Hereditary. And Ghostface is asking like questions about like Stab. He's just like, yeah, who was the first person to get killed in Stab? What that? They don't do that. They don't do the scary that commercial. I love Scary Movie. But yeah, so it was really smartly dispersed, I should say. To the point where at the end they even like do a whole toxic fandom thing. Like we're in spoil. I got, obviously this is all spoilers. So like the whole reason why the killers do what they're doing is because they are critiqued at being like a toxic fan, pretty much. That's pretty much why they do what they did. So it's all like it's a shot at toxic fandom, which I found really funny, because there's a lot of toxic fans out there. Like I get them on my comments a lot. Like if I just don't know something in a movie, or I get one thing wrong when I didn't mean to get it wrong, I get comments like, "You're not a real fan. You fucking idiot." Like, there's a lot of gatekeepers out there, and I find that really funny. So when that happened, I had a big ass smile on my face, and it made sense what character or what characters they picked too. I guess I could say who the killer reveal is. Um, you have of course Amber, the girl with the little white face that gets put on fire. She was one of the killers. She was kind of like she was very much the oh no, no, I'm gonna forget his name. Oh, Matthew Lillard. Watch, here's the toxic fandom coming in. You don't know his name? It's been a little while. They mentioned his name too a couple times. Good lord, why do I not remember? I remember Billy Loomis, which is there's a good reason why I definitely remember him. Um, oh my god, what's his name? Matthew Lillard's character. Anyway, she's very much the Matthew Lillard, which they did the same thing in Scream 4, so it's funny that they did it again here, where there's two killers and one of them's just like kind of like more crazier than the other one. And then the main villain here, which I thought was really funny, was our boy Huey from freaking the boys. What's his name? Quaid, Jack Quaid. So he's the other killer, and the entire movie they're dropping not even hints. They're just saying like, yeah, this guy's probably the fucking killer. Like, David Arquette even shows up like, yeah, never trust the love interest. It's always gonna be the love interest. He says that, and of course, you're led to believe it's not at many points. To the point where I'm just like, maybe it actually isn't him. Maybe it's that person. Maybe it's that person. And then they reveal who the killer is. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't him. My dumbass didn't think of a second killer. Like, I was thinking about it, but I wasn't like thinking at that point like, yeah, there's probably a second killer. And then when it's revealed that he is actually the killer, I was like, all right. So the whole movie was leading to these reveals. I thought the Amber one was lame because when it gets revealed, it was just like, oh, okay, she pulls out a gun and kills one of the other characters. I find some of the characters to be weak. The one she shoots in the head was kind of weak. A couple of them were good. I liked them. Like, I liked the other Meeks kid. I forgot his name. Some of them I like, but I don't remember the names too well. Like, I've only seen this movie once. Don't worry, I'll probably see it again. Thinking I'll see it again tomorrow because I really enjoyed it, but I really did. But yeah, so he gets shot in the, or she gets shot in the head. And that's the reveal that Amber's one of the villains. And I thought it was a decent reveal, but I was like, I didn't really like the character that like the reveal itself was good. Just the character that it ended up being was like, all right, you barely saw that character almost at all. But it also makes some sort of sense because in the beginning of the movie, she's being threatened at, like, the Jenna Ortega character, Tara, her name is being threatened that like, oh, I'll kill this girl. Like, one of the ghost faces is gonna kill Amber or whatever. And then it makes sense later on that Amber was actually a part of it or whatever. So yeah. I mean, it was a good reveal, just not amazing. But I thought the Jack Quaid one was actually really good because when it actually happens, it's just like, oh shit, like it really was like, whoa. At that point, I was not really considering him, but I should have been. Like, it was actually kind of obvious, and the movie actually pulled one on me. So, you know, hey, shout outs to them. They did a good job. There's some good ass kills in this. I would say this isn't the like every review I've seen has talked about how this is like the most violent Scream movie, and I don't really agree. Like, it's violent. There's a couple really good kills. Like, what's his name? Dylan Minette, is that his name? The kid from Don't Breathe and 13 Reasons Why. He gets a pretty grisly one where like he's like, his mother just got killed right outside the house. He doesn't know this at this point, but he's like roaming around the house, and they're playing with like the whole jump scare shit you always see in horror movies at this point, where like, oh, he's gonna turn the corner and Ghostface is gonna be there. No, he's not there. Oh, he opens the fridge, and when he closes the fridge, he'll be right behind the fridge. No, he's not there. So they keep doing that, which I thought was funny because I had people with me that were just like, oh, they were waiting for the jump scare. I'm just like, yeah, they're fucking with us. Which I thought was funny because I hate jump scares. I mean, I don't hate jump scares. I shouldn't say that. I just hate how jump scares are used nowadays because they're so fucking uninventive and lame. Like, they're just like your go-to when you have no ideas. When you have no ideas, just do a jump scare. Loud noise with like a ghost face going, bleh. Like, that works in a haunted house, you know, during Halloween. It does not work in a horror movie unless you really earn it. One of my favorite jump scares ever is in The Exorcist. Legitimately great jump scare. But Hereditary has a couple of really good jump scares. Actually, speaking about Hereditary earlier, Babadook also. You can do jump scares. You just need to set the mood, set the tone, and do them where it's not so fucking cheap and generic, and also don't overdo them. But this movie doesn't really do that. It has a couple of jump scares, but it's supposed to be more of a parody. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Yeah. Anyway, that kill was good. There's a couple other good kills here. Just a lot of stabbings, which I'm okay with that. You know, obviously Ghostface carries a knife, so that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get too many overly creative kills. Like I said, you get a moment where someone gets set on fire. That was fun. There was one kill that was pretty good. I would say, oh, what's my favorite kill? There was one kill I don't want to talk about yet, about one character that I was really upset when they died. We'll talk about it in a second. Not that I'm saving spoilers, I just want to talk about it separately. But that was a good one. There's just some good kills. There's good kills. They're just not like super crazy violent. Like Scream 4 had a scene where someone got killed, and when they when another character walked into the room was covered in blood. I remember that. I was like, whoa. I haven't seen that movie in years, but I still remember that kill. This one, not so much, but still good kills. Withstanding. All right, so let's talk about the big thing. Of course, they bring back the old characters. You got Nev Campbell as Sydney. You got Courtney Cox as Gail. You got David Arquette. I have to remember their name. David Arquette as Dewey, of course. Dewey Riley, Dwight. And they bring all three of them back in smart ways, actually. I really like it. Originally, I mean, in the beginning, Dwight is the first one to come back. Dewey comes back. And I think it was smart how they bring him in. He's kind of like the old professional, you know, like he's the one giving the new characters warnings and stuff like, here's the rules that I know of and stuff. And at first he's reluctant. Then he decides to actually join them. And Sydney's like, I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm not coming back. And then something happens where she is forced to come back. And same thing with Gail. Pretty much, she's like, "Oh, I'm coming back too." So all those characters do come back. They're not used a ton, which I actually liked because, of course, every other movie relies on them almost. And of course, it relies on the side characters to get murdered, so we have a body count. But it usually relies on those three. And I was actually happy to see they don't really super rely on them this time. But they're still in it, you know. It's not like a little cameo at the end, like in the new Ghostbusters or something. They're still in it. They show up and they talk and they discuss things and stuff. They're not just there to look like how they looked in the past four movies, you know, and maybe, you know, fight Ghostface for a second. But the one thing I want to talk about is the death of Dewey. Dewey done dies. That sucks. I love Dewey. So I knew someone was gonna get killed, and for some reason I was thinking maybe Sydney would be the one that gets killed, but then they reveal that she actually has a family now. Um, and I was like, that would be a little too obvious, even for a Scream movie, which obviously likes to comment on the obvious shit in horror movies. So I was like, no, I don't think so. And right when Dewey at one point goes into a hospital and says, I gotta do something, I'm like, yeah, he's dead. He's fucking dead. Which was a little weak because this character has survived so much, and then when he dies halfway through this movie, in a stupid way, admittedly, Dewey has done dumb things in the past. But like he does something that's just like, I get it. He learned from the rule, always shoot him in the head. But he goes to Ghostface after shooting him a couple times. Should have known that they probably had some sort of protection on, you know? Only because, like, I feel like all the other Ghostface take damage like this and are still alive at certain points. So what should have really happened is that he just walked up, bam, shot him in the head. But he was about to, and then Gail calls him on a phone, and he distracts him, and then Ghostface gets up and fucking not only stabs him in the front, stabs him in the back and just, like, rips up, which was a fucking awesome kill. I'm not gonna lie. It was blood everywhere. But for Dewey, like, that would have been cool for one of these fucking new characters. But for Dewey, I feel like he should have had a way more, like, he gets stabbed and he's like, maybe he fights a little bit. And I don't know. But it was a good death scene, and they did a really good job of actually bringing it up too. Like, Gail shows up. You can see she's upset about it. Sydney's upset about it. They bring it up at the end too, even to the point where they kill the two killers at the end. Spoilers, surprise. I mean, I know we're in spoilers, but whatever. Even Gail's just like, no, I'm not gonna report about these two killers. They can go fuck themselves. I'm reporting about Dewey, my boy Dewey. So I thought that was pretty good. It was just upsetting to see Dewey die. Because he's probably my favorite. I love Sydney, and when she showed up, she got the biggest applause from the crowd, which was really fun. But I love Dewey. I've always have, always will, and now he's dead. And I've heard this movie's doing very well, so that kind of sucks that now he's gone. Maybe they could do like some Jamie Kennedy shit where they just bring him back anyway. Like he's just in a videotape. Was that in Scream 3? They just brought his ass back anyway. He was in a videotape. He's like, all right, here's some more rules for you. Which is funny. Maybe they'll do that. Anyway, I need to rewatch all these movies. It's been a long time since I watched the first three Scream movies. I guess the fourth one too, technically. But I watched them so many times when I was a kid. But yeah, it was a really solid movie, very well written for what this needed to be, and I had a really good time. So even though some of the deaths I wasn't like the biggest fan of, like I didn't really care for. I just didn't really care for Dewey dying. I mean, the death itself was good. I just didn't really care for Dewey dying. I wish he lived. And not that I wanted Sydney to die instead, but I was guessing if one of the three was going to die, I thought maybe Sydney, and that would have been like, because I thought what they were going to do is start anew here. So you get rid of the old, you know, final girl, I guess. It feels shitty calling Sydney the final girl. I don't really like it. Because I feel like she's surpassed that, like that's like calling Ripley the final girl. I just don't. But I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't like it. But I don't mind it in other movies. I just don't like it in Scream. But because at this point she's a badass. She should be up there with like Laurie Strode in New Halloween, where she should be like fucking coming in guns a blazing. Because she's been attacked 4 times. Isn't that funny that in this New Halloween, Laurie is fucking like her whole life she's been preparing for Michael Myers to show back up after being attacked once. Ghostface has tried to kill her 4 times before this movie. And she's just like, I'm living a new life. I mean, she's out of Woodsboro, so that's one thing. But she's like, I'm just living my life. I have a family now, And she has a gun. She mentions like, oh, of course I have a fucking gun. And maybe she is like fucking like Laurie Strode, but we don't really get to see her a lot at her own house, But anyway, I would love to see more about Sydney in the next movie. That's another thing I will say. I didn't say in my first impressions. I think the main lead in this, Melissa Barraro, I think her name is, right? Or is it Michelle? Hold on, let me bring it. I just want to get her name right. Melissa Barrera, excuse me, she was in The Heights, which I thought she was good in that movie. I thought she was very wooden in this. There's a lot of times where she has to have like an emotional scene where just I didn't think it worked, and she was like opposite like Jenny Ortega, who I think does a really good job with the stuff she's given. I mean, the writing isn't the best when it comes to like some of that like dialogue between the two sisters because they play sisters. But I thought she was kind of wooden. I thought everybody else did a really good job. I didn't think anybody else was bad at all. Like I thought everybody else did their job. I just thought she was kind of wooden, and she's the main character, which sucks. Oh, I didn't even talk about Billy Loomis. They fucking brought back Skeet Ulrich. Like, what the fuck? When that happened, I was like, what the fuck? I haven't seen Skeet Ulrich in fucking years. And when he showed up, I was like, is that even fucking him? I don't even know what he looks like. And they shaved him down, made him look like how he looked in the original Scream, which I thought was fucking weird. Very weird. I was hoping we get a Matthew Lillard fucking cameo too, but that ain't happening. But that was really weird. He's like in his 50s now, so like they shaved him down, and they must have added maybe some makeup to make him look a little bit younger, because he actually looked pretty good for someone in his 50s. But there's a whole reason for that. Like, I guess I didn't talk about that, but the new character, Melissa Barrera, Sam, I think her name was, she's actually related to Billy Loomis, to the point where she's actually his daughter, which actually kind of checks out for Billy Loomis. He was a piece of shit, so he was like sleeping around everywhere. So Billy knocked some other girl up, and she had a baby. That was Melissa Barrera, which time wise that makes sense. It's been like 20 something years since Scream. She's in her 20s, so it makes sense. And the movie even comments like having connections to the original, so that's a connection right there. Along with, of course, Sydney, Gale, and Dewey coming back. So yeah. I liked it. I liked the meta commentary. I liked the connections, and yeah, it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. So that's that. That's Scream 5cream. I hope you enjoyed the little spoiler talk there. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.